QMU needs. That is the kind of president that I want to be. If you agree, please vote Alistair in the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alice. We forgot that we have an applause protocol for the evening. After each summary speech, you are very much entitled to show your appreciation. But when we get to the question sections, we ask that only at the end of the section, so when the break comes, that you give your applause just so we can give the candidates room to talk. Okay, the next statement comes from Chris Stephen.
Thank you, Paul. How's everybody doing? Good. Hey, my name's Chris Stephen. In halls, on my pals asked why. I wanted to see what they see. Sorry, I wanted to see what I see. And hopefully, if I become president, I can start to share that with everyone else as well. I'm a social community at the moment. What have I done in my time? I've changed to Friday quiz and introduced Q and comedy. I'm there every Thursday, continuing success of everyone else we have. Alistair started a lounge. I'll be overseeing the lounge 1 year birthday anniversary, March 9th, come along, we'll have cake. I'm not here to say what I've done in the past, I'm here to tell you tonight what I will do for you in the future. Oh, Chris Stephen.
Cool. I'd just like to say a brief little bit about the other things that I'm involved in apart from being publication convener. One thing I think is incredibly important, one thing that I think we've undoubtedly failed at this year has been engaging the first years. If I look out at this audience, everybody here, more or less, was a freshers helper. And I think to look forward to the future of the QM has to be to look forward to time when it's the first year, so coming in now, want to come in September. They're the people who will have to hook in and keep coming back. I think a lot of the things I've brought forward this year have been ways that we can bring in as many people as possible, and that's been demonstrated by attendance at my committee, in which we have sort of 40 odd people coming each week, many of them who've never been involved in the QMU before.
Okay, thank you to all candidates. Next, we're going to go through some questions that we pulled together that address big picture stuff, policy, priorities in the union. And we'll start with Chris Stevens, we'll go to Max, and then we'll go to Alice. They'll get a minute each to answer the question. After that, I'll ask candidates whether they want to reply to any of the issues that we raised. They don't have to fill the minute. And we'll do that just once, and then we'll move on to the next question. So it should take 5-ish minutes. So the first question is, what is the main priority for the union for the coming year? And can we have Chris Stevens answer that first?
To put it bluntly, the main priority of the union has to be engagement of first years. If we don't start engaging new members every year, we're not going to have a union in 5-10 years. We can't be relying on the same people bailing this place at the financial hole again and again and again. We really need to. We've never actually managed to do this. The time I've been here, we talk and we talk and we talk about PR, we talk about consistency, we talk about brand and imaging, we talk about engaging first years, and we've not managed to do it yet. I really think that needs to be our whole priority, and we need to sort this out to ensure we still have a union in 5-10 years' time.
Okay, can we have Max answer that question now?
I think that the priority for the year has to be engaging and unique social and events experiences. I think that's the thing that will tie people, to bring people into the union. I think it's the kind of thing that will build a real loyalty when they find something here that they can't get elsewhere.
We start with
more
Max.
interesting ways and creating experiences that will attract people that they can't get elsewhere.
I think I'm the right person to address these issues that the QM faces over the course of next year, because I'm energetic and driven. I'm never down, I'm always looking forward to some new positive opportunity. And I think it's important to have that ambition. When you're the leader of something like this, you have got to be responsible for hopefully driving everybody forward together. And I think I've demonstrated that this year through my present role, in which we've been 10 times as successful online.
I want to get people involved, and I feel like I'm the right person to canvass what people want and give them what they want.
Okay, would any of the candidates like to address any of the issues raised there?
Just to respond to Chris there, the role of president, I think, though it would be great to have younger people coming into it and the ideas that you can bring forward will valued. I think the role of president in particular benefits from someone who has seen this place change, who has dealt with lots of issues. I don't personally see any one candidate, no matter what year they are, being better than another. That is part of the role, that you can do it whatever year you're in, but I do personally think that a bit of experience would be useful.
Okay, and then candidates like to answer that with Max first and second. Chris?
I believe one of the things this year is lacking at the moment is a fresh perspective and fresh ideas. We rehash the same old things time and time again and it's not working. As a business, we're ineffective. We provide ineffective services for membership. We say we need to engage first years because we need to find out what they want. We need fresh ideas, we need fresh creativity. I've been on board for 1 year and I always bring up some stuff I'm in his office every day, and most of the time she's shooting me away because like, my ideas aren't always that great, but I'm always coming up with them. And I think that's what you need. It needs an idea person. It needs someone who's not afraid to try new things and work towards change to be positive for the better. And that's what I think that provides a candidate column.
Okay. The third question is, a continually successful regular club night is something which presidents and boards have struggled with for a number of years. Yep. Other student unions across the country use external events companies to host nationally branded club nights, like Sunset and Medusa and so on. Is this something that you feel that you could benefit from? We could start with last time. Alice. Oh, right, sorry, Matt.
I think that one of the things that makes the QM special is that it has been volunteers that put on these events, that come up with the ideas, that bring them along and see their ideas developed into a project that their peers and many across campus can come along and enjoy. There's certainly a benefit to delivering people a known quantity, but I think if we're doing club night right, then I don't think we should rely on outside companies necessarily. That being said, we do seem to spend an inordinate amount of our volunteers' time putting on a weekly Friday club night that is often sparsely attended. I think that the most sustainable way for the QM to go forward over the next time might be that not every week Kudos has to be open. Somebody told me that busy breeds busy, and that's definitely true. If people come along and have a great night in somewhere, they'll tell their friends, they'll bring their friends along next time, and I think there's no point in throwing a huge Friday club night at the end of a term when nobody's coming out, or in the middle of a term when nobody's coming out. I'll expand on that in more detail later on, or you can see my manifesto.
Alice, can you please answer that question?
Yes. I am wary of opening up to national club nights. I certainly think approaching people within Glasgow and thinking about nights that are popular in Glasgow, potentially having them here would be no real bad thing. I mean, we see over at the Glasgow School of Art, they have monthly club nights that are organised outside of their building and they work well. I would generally agree with Max in that I think our volunteers are bogged down by having to worry about our Friday night constantly. I know that they would much prefer to be doing something more interesting and more engaging. So I would approach it with an open mind. I don't think it will answer all of our questions and all of our problems. I think those go a bit deeper with the space that we have, but I would be open to it as a concept.
Okay, and lastly,
So the question was, would I like to see a club night outsourced to our company? Why would we need a board of management if we would let other people make our decisions for us? One of the things I'm sure all three of us can agree on is the fact that our club night is different to whatever you see in town because of the student union's take on a club night. We have our own identity, we've had several over the years, and not all of them have worked greatly, but at least we can always say we tried to do something a bit different. I just feel we're in real jeopardy of losing one of our only unique traits if we put it in the hands of someone else. Someone that hasn't been elected to represent your views, an external profit-driven company, and I really don't think that's the way to go. Other unions might make it work, I really think we should do what's best for QMU, what's best for its members, and not what's best for our cash registers.
Okay, and would any of the candidates like to address anything raised to Max?
I disagree with Alice slightly. I don't think we can just take a formula.
Weekend events have always, with a few exceptions, been, as you say, incredibly poor. We don't really, our place in Glasgow doesn't really allow for weekend business outside of other things, outside of student involvement. I mean, the simple fact is students aren't here on the weekend and we cater to students. Was there a further part of the question to what we should do? Do you feel that is? That's the basic reason. Students aren't here. Do I think that we could put on a stellar event that would bring all of the students of Glasgow to this building on a Saturday? Yes. I do not know what that event would be. We have tried numerous events over the years. But I think it's perfectly doable. I worry that students won't come down on a Saturday. Who wants to come down when we haven't got lectures? You know?
Okay, next can we hear from Chris?
It's an attitude that we need to shift. We have this stigma in our minds that people don't do anything at the weekends. That students are just to slip off the face of the earth or something. We have this perception that everybody goes home on the weekends. Yes, we have home students, but they don't get involved in QMUs typically anyway. And I'm sure there's a million more things we can do to engage their involvement. But they're not the people here on a Friday night anyway. I'd be looking at opening up our services on Saturday. People don't do anything. People don't come here the weekend because we offer nothing for them to come here to. The unions of what you get Cafe 22s open and everyone in the bars open. We don't offer social stuff. We don't have extended scran hours. We don't have any incentive for people to want to use the unions. The libraries and the gym are still in use by students at weekends. People are still here from everybody in my social circle at least. I know we can maybe go home maybe once, twice a semester. People are not going home every weekend. But we just have this idea that nothing happens, and nothing happens because we don't make anything happen. If we start making things happen, people will start coming, people will start participating. They're not going to come to an empty building.
I think for weekend opening to be a feasible option for the QM, I'll give you a few sort of specific examples of what I'd like to see. I think we need to promote the live sport that goes on in Champions far more heavily. The idea that Champions is a sports bar is at the moment a fairly laughable one. There's a telly on in the corner that's flicked to whatever somebody who wanders in happens to decide. We don't promote it consistently that way. Down the road they can draw hundreds of people into the debates chamber to watch the rugby. We got maybe 30, and even then we only had the rugby on half the time. I think you need to have clear posters, you need a clear sports lineup for the month up on all the walls so people know what they're coming in for, people know they'll be able to come in and have a great time. We don't want to just be a sports union when Super Bowl comes around. We want to be able to offer something to people all year round. I also think there's opportunities potentially for clubs and societies to use the building over the weekend more regularly. And I think if you're in a more effective dialogue with them, then you might find there are opportunities there that can be exploited. There's always going to be the problem with a lack of passing trade. I think potentially you can fix more creative.
Thank you very much. If there's anyone else who wants to answer, Alice.
I would agree that we could be doing more, especially for our clubs and societies, but the trend that we've noticed is that clubs and societies on the weekend will go out of the city or do other things with their members. This is a hub for students and for when students are here and when they're on campus. In terms of the sport in this place, I would like to see what more we could actually be doing. We have rebranded Champions Bar as a sports bar. The people that I know who go to sports bars don't go to bars like Champions. The people I know who go to Champions go to the pub, you know? Should we actually be looking at it like that? Should we be using it to the strength that it already has instead of pushing this other image that I personally don't feel is ever really good?
Okay, Chris?
I completely agree with Max and disagree with Alice here. We lose nothing by promoting it as a sports bar. People aren't coming anyway, people aren't going to get turned off by the fact that we put the Celtic game on, for example. The GAU are showing that it's a ratings draw. They're getting people there. We're losing trade to pubs on Byers Road and Ashton, which are much more expensive. Well, we can offer student prices. Students like sport. We have a gym bar. It's a potential music bar. I think most manifestos I've looked at from CSRs, conveners, exec, we touched on we need more live music. What's to stop us having local gigs on Saturdays? People would come to them. Nobody comes because we offer nothing for people to come. We offer no incentive at all for people to be here at the weekend. And we wonder why it's busy. And then we just simply sit back and say, oh, people don't go out on the weekend. We're our own worst enemy at times, we really are. If we start offering services, people will start coming, and I can't stress that enough.
Okay, the next question is a long one. How far do you think Margate Union can be involved in the decision-making process with regards to the Western development, particularly in relation to the learning and teaching hub, given it's going to be right next door to the Union? Is it important that we're involved in the decision-making process when
established trade, we have an established membership base? We really need to be cooperating with it to make sure that we don't start losing trade. We need to be looking at promoting ourselves through this new hub. We need to be looking at using this new hub to our advantage, to embrace it so we're getting people there to use both their services and our services to work in collaboration and do collaborative projects with the new hub. But it's one of those things, it's not like for any candidate to say, I have no idea how successful it'll be. None of us do. It's a massive hypothetical, it could bomb drastically, it could put everything out of business. We don't really know, it's not really something that I've planned, but it's not really something that one person can plan for. I think it really needs the board of management to sit down and have a look at how we can engage with them. And if students really want us to engage with both.
Max?
I slightly disagree with this though. I think this is something you can plan and make the best out of. The other day, the executive and conveners were invited along to Principal's Lodgings, which is a gathering held by Anthony Muscatelli with all the senior management and stuff. The first thing I did was seek out the person who was in charge of that project, talk to the person who was head of student services, because I wanted to know as much information as I could about what they were going to be building on campus. I think if we build these relationships with the university, they're more likely to keep us involved in the consultation process. I think the Learning and Teaching Hub, they're already talking about it having food outlets, they're already talking about having spaces for clubs and societies. And I think that is both a threat and an opportunity for us here. It's an opportunity in that the centre of campus is shifting towards this end. It's a potential threat in that we'll be facing new rivals, and for that we have to make sure that all of our commercial services are good, all our committee rooms are places clubs and societies want to be. Again, more information on this later.
Alice?
If you've had a chance to read over the manifestos of some of the people over at the SRC, you would possibly, well, you would be able to believe that we have no control over what happens in the new development as students. In terms of us at the QM, I think we just need to continue to show our importance and to offer the best facilities and the best services that we can. We should build up this base that as something that, you know, there's this new hub, but nobody even really considers going there. As Matt has pointed, the whole shift of campus means that it's possibly going to shift away from the Fraser building, which we saw as a competitor when it was first opening, but we've still had reasonable food and food services. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much we can directly influence higher ups in the university without first showing that we are the best option on campus.
Thank you, Alice. Respond first from Chris.
I have an additional 2 minutes to think. What I'd like to say is, I feel like if the university is going ahead with this and they're building this new hub, they don't have enough confidence in the unions to provide the services this new hub will. And I think what we really need to do is establish what we're offering to become a unique service that people won't want to just ditch in favour of the new toy down the road. What we really need to do is establish ourselves like a solid base of what we're offering and what we're doing so that people won't just switch allegiances like that. We have to retain members, and if we start giving members what they want, they have no reason to leave us. And we need to really keep them with that in mind.
have been neglected in the consultation process. I think perhaps a year or two ago people had this crazy idea that maybe they're going to spend 200 million on campus and they'll give the QM a brand new building and we'll have a club and everything. The university, at the end of the day, don't care that much for the unions. They provide a certain amount of our budget, but they only do that provided we are adding things to the student experience. And I think that we need to focus very clearly on what those things are that we're adding to the place if we want to get anything out of negotiation with the university. That said, I do think that we can be a voice for students on campus. I think this might take a degree of coordination with, for example, the SRC, who I know are wanting to work much more closely with the university as well. But I think there is potential for the QM to have a real voice in that.
Okay, next question will be the last for the break. And it's a simple one, unlike that last one. What is the QMU's biggest hurdle to be overcome the next year and how are you going to do it? Who's first up? Max, hurdles.
I think the biggest hurdle that we have to face in the next year is there'll be a large chunk of the user base, of potential user base of the university students here who are not involved with the QM in any way, shape or form. Our current membership stands at just over 3,100 people out of a potential membership of 25,000. We're clearly not doing enough to engage first years, to engage international students, to engage the 43% of students who are now mature students or postgrads. I think there's a huge amount of the student population of Glasgow that are just not catered to. And I think for the QM to have an active, engaged user base who come to a wide variety of events, we have to be appealing to those people as well as those that we've previously considered in our core demographic.
Okay, thank you, Max. Alice?
I agree. I think the biggest hurdle is getting people not only engaged but involved. If we look into this audience, I recognise almost everyone here. We need to be branching out and looking at how we get people involved, how we get people to care again about this building. And I think, as I stated earlier, I think the easiest way to overcome that hurdle is for people to know what this building means and for them to be able to get involved and, to get in touch with us and to tell us what they want this building to mean as well.
Okay, and lastly, can you hear from Chris?
Our biggest hurdle ourselves, our inability to change and adapt with the times, our inability to engage new members, our inability to provide services that our members actually want and not just what we assume they want.
Okay, would anyone like to address any points raised there? Max?
I brought up, for example, the suggestion of increasing use of social media to highlight the issues that are going to be discussed in the board. When people feel that they can just post a comment on the way they feel about the way the union addresses a particular issue, they will feel like they've got a greater stake in the way this place is run.
Okay, and Alice first, please. Okay, Chris.
Just quickly to expand a little bit, I think that's an overly negative last time I didn't need to be. It's little things like the whole duration of our club night, we've kept it on the same night and we've kept the same DJ. We go through 101 different rebrandings, but at our core, we're incapable of changing, we're incapable of wanting to change. And I think we really need to do. We're not the most successful union. I don't think that's like a secret to anybody in this room. The fact that we've got like empty seats in this room makes it pretty obvious. People aren't that engaged. We have the lowest turnout of any electorate of the 4 student bodies. We need to start engaging people, we need to give people a reason to come here and we need to change.
Okay, can you please give a candidate a round of applause? Go get yourself a drink. If you would like to submit a question for the next round, see Jack. Yes, at the front there. And be back here in 10 minutes.
Jack, any chance I can get any slips again? Bit of paper, pen, help yourself. Go for it. Jack. Cheers.
Older question.
Go for it.
He did, that is what he said, right?
He was like, I have question paper, please.
Absolutely, sir. Would you like a pen?
No, I think I have one actually, thank you.
Oh,
My dear, could I use you for a little writing service?
yes, you could.
Thank you.
You could too find Josh and ask him where the fuck he put my camera lens. To let you know.
Is the live stream still happening already?
No, he didn't use my camera because he was having problems, I don't know, with the software and
You're not
stuff.
very good writing services, just to wait for us to
I'm sorry, but can you find him please and ask him that? Because I asked him.
Have you had anything? Has anyone tweeted you?
Yeah, we've had people tweet, but I think we've had a couple that have like already tweeted you. Does that make sense? Like I think someone told me that you'd already had them.
Well, I haven't been taking stuff.
Right. I'll write it down. I don't want you to have to.
No, looks like it's saying I'm talking boots.
Do you want some paper?
I don't see that or the hashtag.
Sorry. You kind of see me doing, I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Just right when we didn't think of it.
Oh, why not? Josh, we went back to run the SSC.
Do they exist?
It went like haywire. I could message him and be like, have you got the camera lens?
Yeah, it's the camera lid, like the lid for the lens.
I have no idea.
Yeah. He'll come back. Bring him with him.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
About it yourself?
Good, yeah, that's fine.
Surviving. Crack it on, crack it on. Jack. Yells. Thanks. Lovely. Thanks.
The boys that both left, which means I can't go to get like. Alright, the boys need to. Your voice is
Go for it. Paper, pens.
Has anyone asked about Hive yet? Have you had a question about Hive yet?
I think so.
Ask one then.
increased pressure on everybody. There's individual rests tomorrow, so
Yeah.
there's still.
I've got another one. It's got pressure to
Just take it on the paper.
It's about the job PG Hive. Let's do it. I'm doing like especially in the Hive. Especially in
Honestly, I was like,
You're ready to fucking I can't see you like it's right Just maybe.
I've got another one. Forever asking clients.
Bringing stuff that's happened last year and stuff that like they put in their manifestos that are coming up and be like, dead eye. Oh yeah. That's alright, that's not the one streaming, so. Nope. We had one meeting that was a question that apparently is already being asked by someone else. I think people are watching this stream. Yeah. I don't think we published the numbers, so it helps. It
That's all. Can we take a seat, please? Hold on each other.
It is fine. Oh yeah, so that's it.
That's fine.
Are you sure there's been a watch? That's why.
Right. Same rules apply in the second half about both timings and appreciation. We're going to go the opposite way to shake things up. We're going to start with Chris. Thank you very much for everybody submitting questions. It's likely we're not going to get through them all, but we've kind of condensed all the ones that were kind of broadly similar. Starting with this one, which was definitely the best worded one. Assuming it is completed on time, GUU are about to open a brand new shiny event space down the road. What would you do to ensure the QM can complete with this lustrous appeal? Chris, a minute on lustrous appeal.
Alright, I think the main factor on how we deal with the, I'm just going to talk about the hat here, is when it will be open really. I think if it's open mid-October, we really need to get in quickly and establish what we are, what services we're offering, and when we first use over before they do. If it's open at the same time when they launch our Freshers Week, we need to put the best possible lineup we can. We need to be putting everything into all our efforts, all our resources, and really trying to pull people back and say, look, the QM's here too, we're not that shiny around, we've got a rustic aesthetic and it's still really good, so come down.
Okay. Alice, you next.
People have always judged the unions on the face value of it. I know people who are more QM than even they know, but they will always go to the GU because it looks pretty. In terms of what we can offer versus what they offer, I think, yeah, we just, a bit of substance, even if we haven't got the style, is what we need, We should look to the services that we provide, we should look to the events that we put on, we should look to engaging with our members, instead of just throwing this big lustrous building at them.
Okay, a few specifics. I think the QM has to be able to sell its atmosphere, has to be able to say this is the most friendly, welcoming place on campus. I think you launched that through a great Freshers Week. I think for the last couple of years we've done a lot of the same events year in, year out, and I think this year it showed that we were getting slightly tired of some of those even on the Wednesday and Thursday events that underperformed. I think we need to make sure that we're throwing a great week, all week, rather than just for the 2 or 3 days at the start and hoping that will keep people hooked. We've had a great bunch of freshers helpers, but I think you could always improve in the way the whole week is structured. Beyond that, I think you have to be able to throw unique events that people are not going to be able to go elsewhere. A great example of that is Allowed, the literary open mic. We had 150 people in, spending hundreds of pounds at the bar, listening to poetry. That's not something students can get elsewhere. It's not the kind of thing that the GUU could ever pull off. I think we have to have our own unique niche there.
Okay, would anyone like to address any of those points? Chris?
It's just really a question to Max. You've talked several times tonight about creating these unique social experiences for people. You've mentioned Allowed there, that's something we already do. What are your ideas? What kind of unique experiences are we going to offer to people?
Max, you can respond to that.
I'm more of the means to have proper live music here. It's kind of an odd one because we try and take a line between just, in the way that Chris has said, just being nostalgic about it and saying, we do great music, look at all these great musicians that have played here, but then really don't actually offer anything new or different or exciting. So I think we should be looking at, again, a bit of substance, like what kind of music do we want to be having here? Do we want to just have local bands, or do we just want to have, I don't know, like prog rock craziness for 2 hours, 3 hours, until Colin taps me off the stage?
going to invite responses on it to avoid confrontation. As part of the board of management, you are part of a team, and you work towards a common purpose. Can you identify your biggest weakness and how you negate it? Starting with Alice.
Okay, so this really is like an interview. Okay, cool. My biggest weakness, I expect a lot from people. I want to see people give their utmost. I want people to come off, if I'm president, I want them to come off board knowing that they have done their utmost. When I was a freshers helper, I was, even just as within my own team, I was always asking, what more can we be doing? When I was a freshers helper leader, I was asking my team, what more do you think you can be doing? When I was social convener, we started new events and we looked at what more could we be doing. Yeah, that's my biggest thing.
Okay, Max, next.
I'm not going to do one of those things where you identify something as a weakness and then say, oh wait, it's actually, this is how wonderful I am. No, I think one of the things that I've had to work on over the course of this year was I always wanted to be at the centre of things and be in control of the way things are moving forward. Over the course of this year, I've learned a lot more about teamwork. I've learned to work with people better, and I hope I've learned from the experiences. And now I'm more comfortable sharing things with people, and I think that that's what you need to be part of a great team moving forward.
And Chris.
Since I'm being honest tonight, I've got a massive weakness. I'm not going to give you 10 openers. Apart from that, I think a massive weakness of mine is honestly sometimes I have an inability to hold my tongue. At times I speak when I really shouldn't. At times perhaps I'm not the greatest to listen to everyone else, but I really think working with a board of management to give responsibility and to know everybody's defined roles in the union and to know what they're in charge of, I really think I'd be able to support them. And if I'm not able to support them, I'm not able to work part of a team. If no one place can do it, don't vote for me. You need to be confident that I can work as part of the board of management if you want to vote for me. This is the same for our two candidates. And one of my weaknesses is, yeah, sometimes I just shut my mouth for it. I'm doing it right now. But yeah, I'm trying to get better and at least try to identify this and I'm improving my weakness. Thank you.
Okay. It's no question, first of all, actually, someone's carefully included a fact in this question in that home students account for a third of campus. Home students, that's for students who live in Glasgow. Well, no, we come from Glasgow. Everybody's in Glasgow. It's no secret that home students are difficult to engage in QM events. As president, how would you attempt to overcome this? I'm going to start with Max.
I think the obvious answer here is to have more events on earlier in the day, particularly people who are in for lectures are not going to stay around necessarily until 8 in the afternoon, for 8 in the evening for a quiz. You have to find things that will bring them into the union earlier in the day. I think that, for example, there's room for holding more events in Strand for an atmosphere that's more sort of a nicer design, perhaps the more mature students who might be on campus, for example. I also perhaps less focus on events around alcohol, which I know is obviously a big part of all our lives in the QMU pretty much, but not necessarily for those who've chosen to live at home and live in a slightly less riotous manner than a lot of the QM regulars do.
Well, students is an interesting one, really. I think before we make assumptions on their behalf, we really need to engage them and find out what they do on. I know a lot of home students don't actively engage with the union because they can't. They feel like a lot of it, neglects them. A lot of what we do happens at night. Like, I've talked about weekends, and that's probably a bit contradictory. We stand up here and saying, oh, maybe we need to take more home students in, but I'm not really sure if we do. If they have no clear interest in being part of the membership, and And like, I've spoken to a lot of students and I've said, hey, I'm running for this election, you guys should check it out. And the guys I've spoken to have shown no interest. They're not here to be part of the union, they're here and they're committed to stay home just to come to university. I don't really think we need to overly gauge people who don't want to be part of what we're doing here. I think that sends up the wrong message. What we really need to do is try to gauge the people who might want to be involved in what we're doing.
For home students, I'm not sure if putting on events during the day is really what's needed. I mean, we've had events during the campus. Thank you.
One thing that we've all talked about is the revamp of Food Factory, and I think home students, one of their primary engagements with the union is coming here for lunch. A complete overhaul of what we're doing up there, with a complete direction, nicer interiors, maybe a booth there, a couple of theme days, whatever. Like a clear direction of what we're doing up there to engage the home student coming in for one of the activities they already do. If we really make that one of our strengths, then we can make money off it and we can provide a service off of it. At the moment, it's not doing too well.
This may be straying from the point a little bit, just looking solely at the Food Factory, because I think we could be offering a lot more. But with regards to the Food Factory and what we do offer, again, I would say substance over style. I think we actually have to look at what we are offering. We have seen successes. Like in this year alone, we've seen with the Meat-Free Mondays, our menu is far more, possibly not desirable to everybody who loves their meat every day, but it's certainly something a little bit different and something that we can engage well, that we hopefully can use as an experiment to engage with other people.
Okay. Our next question. All of you in your manifestos and what are here tonight have mentioned about engaging first years and getting them into the union. What about holding on to members at the other end? Do you see any benefit in getting like members as well as that? So that's a two-part question. Holding on to members after first year and like members.
Absolutely. Like members should, and they should just feel like not only are they welcome here, but that they provide something and give something back to our current membership. I was at an event called the We Conference We Arts a few days ago, well last week now, and it was the whole purpose of bringing alumni back and teaching these undergrads what you can get after university. I think if we did a program like that where you can, specifically for board members who have learned or taken what they learned during their time on board and going forward with that and engaging with the life members so that they can not only relive their glory days of the QM but give something back to the current members.
I think that this is another area where we can actually learn something from the way things are done down the road. Down the road they have a highly engaged life membership who bring in a lot in terms of sponsorship, they bring a lot in terms of experience to the board, they bring in a lot of business sense. I think that's something QM's completely failed to tap into over the last few years. That being said, I don't think you're ever going to be able to automatically grab everyone who came here for 40 years. We've been through the archives, got as many email addresses as we can this year. I think you have to start with the group who are immediately leaving. I think you have to have a big life membership drive around 2 graduation periods in the summer and then post-grad in December. And I think the reason that's important is one of the real problems student unions have is a lack of an institutional memory. 25-member board turns over so rapidly that often experiences about where you're going wrong, things that could have done better in the past are lost. I think you have to be really careful that that's maintained, that the QMs continue to flourish.
I think it's how we use life members really, that's the bigger problem. Each year we elect 3 honorary positions and it's usually just from a selection of last year's conveners. I really think it'd be much more valuable to get people with real world experience, to get people who've been life members 20 years ago who are now successful doctors, lawyers to come in and give a neutral outsider perspective into the board of management. I think that would be valuable. I think people are always going to want to become life members. I don't think it's something we should prioritise or put an emphasis on. If you're QM for life, you're going to sign up for life membership no matter what. It doesn't matter which president's in charge, it doesn't matter what the emphasis in the first year is that year. It shouldn't affect you. If you're that dedicated to the union, you're going to be a life member, you're going to come back regardless. I don't think it's something we should emphasise on or prioritise.
I think the reason that the life member numbers are so low, and I think by some measures we literally only have a couple of hundred, and almost none of those engage with the building on any meaningful level from time to time, it's just they have a nice black card, is that at the moment there is no benefit to life membership, particularly beyond coming back for drinks every so often and reliving old memories. I think you want, for example, a dedicated Facebook group for the life members. I think that'd be a good one.
Engagement as regular members and committee members for the board. Okay, international, particularly non-EU students, are a minority within the union. How would you call that?
I think it's another case, I've said this a lot of times, I think we've all said this, we need to know what we can do for them. Whoever on the secretary is next year, something we should be looking at is engaging these societies and do they want to come in, can we do something with them? I think things that we've done with societies in the past have had mixed receptions, and it's just really about establishing if we can do something with them, if they want to do something with us as well. It's not something we should force upon them, but again, we need to look into what they want before we make decisions on their behalf.
International students, but certainly only in what they want. I'm wary of only offering them things, in a kind of, oh, you are international students, you can only enjoy these kind of things. But in terms of the international students that we have over the summer, and people who come in just for the summer schools, I think we could be doing a lot more. Chatting to some people over at Caledonia University, they have trips. They organise trips out for their international students. And they almost work as a base for the international students to then go on and discover more of Glasgow, which I think is a really nice atmosphere to present to international students, particularly non-EU students who perhaps don't have any connection with Glasgow or with Scotland.
I'm going to disagree with Alice there. We're not a tour group organiser. We're a student union, and our base is this building here on campus, and we should be aiming to get them into this building and involved with things that we're throwing in this building. I think one way specifically that we can do that is engage much earlier in the process with Rio, the international office on campus. They run tours for students coming around campus, and I think we should be pushing them to hold more of their events early on when people are just arriving in the city, when they haven't got a feel for the place so well. We want to catch them early and bring them into the QM circles there. One thing we didn't communicate that was very successful this year was we did an issue focusing on a girl who'd come over from Hong Kong's experiences with the pro-democracy protests there, and we found that when we were engaging with a big issue that these people cared about, a lot of people were bothered enough to pick up the magazine, to come along to a committee meeting, things like that. I think there are always ways that we can engage an international audience.
Okay, in response to those issues, first tips, Chris.
I think we do need to treat international students as a separate group. I mean, in different countries there's different cultures. Like a massive culture in the QMU is about a drinking culture. We like having a good time while drinking. A lot of international students don't want to engage with that. They'll use other services on campus, they'll use libraries, they'll use the gym, but they're not using the unions because they see this perceived notion of what a union is. I think we really need to change that. We need to say to them, look, this is what we can offer. I think we need to offer different services to them. And yeah, I don't think we need to be treated like a separate group. They are a separate group of people. We would be having this conversation if they were. They are a potential issue, and I don't think anybody has a real answer until we find out what they want, and get answers from them, and then give them a service that they would like to see provided.
Firstly, we're not going to be a tour group, although QMU goes on holiday and a big red bus would be great. As someone who went to a foreign country and was in a university for a whole year, having that first period, those first months where they would...
Okay, everybody have another round of applause, please. There were more questions there, but we're going to try and finish for 9, because I'm sure you all have very, very important things to do in Dinsmore. But there's a hustings meeting tomorrow at 7 in Dinsmore. If you want to ask questions of individual candidates or all candidates, go there. It's good. Okay, I'm going to ask one last question of the candidates, and they have 2 minutes to answer. There's not going to be a response on this one, it's going to be a summation. So, what's your vision for the Queen Margaret Union? Why should we vote for you for president? Who's going now? Max.
My vision for the Queen Margaret Union is one based around accessibility to as many people as possible and an accountable board who are bringing forward policies that are the ones that the members of the Queen Margaret Union want in 2015, 2016. I think in my manifesto I've written a lot more about how to engage clubs and societies and why they're a valuable middle step between students and the board. I've talked a lot more about how I'll solve QM bugbears like the PR issues, which I'm surprised didn't come up tonight. And I also want to talk a bit more about the kind of capital projects that the QM needs to be investing in if it's going to be successful in the long-term future. I think that my record shows that I've been set ambitious goals and achieved them. I've delivered every point in my manifesto this year and more. And I think that is why I would be a good president of the union next year. You clap that.
My vision for the QM in 2015-2016 is a union that talks to its members and that listens to its members. It's a union that puts forward an image of what it wants its members to have and what it wants its members to get from being members. It is a vision of working with our staff, of valuing our staff, of supporting our staff in a way that we just don't at the moment. All of those things extend to our volunteers. Our volunteers often feel undervalued, like they're doing a job that is being done by someone else or has already been done by someone else, and I would like to combat that directly, and I believe I'm the best candidate to do that because I have worked with volunteers in this building for the last 5 years. I know what you can get out of this building, and I would like to share with everyone what I've got out of this building and hope that they can achieve similar goals. Thank you.
What I want? Respect. I want a union that respects its members. I want a union not focused on saying the comments on the performance, let's cut it. I want a union that says, what can we do to improve it? I want a union, like this place is based on voluntary people putting their time in, this place would run. Karl Marx would be spinning in his grave with exploited labour on show. Like I want a union. I want a union free from the politics and stresses of life. What does that mean? Like, I feel like there's very few places to truly escape from dissertations, the hardships of university, the politics of university, and this is possibly one of it. We have a real chance to give students a hub, like this really good that they want to come to, that they want to spend their time in. We have a chance to engage their membership and find out what they want from you. That's what I want. A union that gives back to its membership, a union that respects its membership, a union that doesn't cut services but says what can it do more for its members. I just want a union that every single person in this room, every single person watching the live stream, every single person voting, not voting, at this university from now for years to come, one that they can enjoy, that they can come to, that they want to come to. I just want a good union, really.
Okay, can we get one more round of applause for all the candidates, please? They'll be around for the ask the questions, and all of the dates that you need to know are in the booklet, which I can find. Do you want to say a few words or do you want to?
No, I think I'll do.
Thank you very much for coming. Like I said. And thank you very much for coming and getting involved.
I love your peers, Colin!
Thank you.